Oh, well, good morning. It's another early start. We've got some serious miles to do in the Favorit today. We're going to Bridge North to do a feature for Classic Jaguar, and then I'm off to Krown rust proofing, and we're going to try and stop this car rotting away. So, exciting times in the dark. Well, the sun is rising. It's turning into a lovely day by the look of it. Very, very cold though. Yet the heater output is very strong, so maybe I was wrong to have suspicions about the thermostat. Maybe I just hadn't driven far enough to get the radiator warm. Gorgeous. Unfortunately, one thing that's less good is the odometer's clearly broken again. It was clocking up some miles, but now it's just stopped again. So I fear some of my Christmas might be spent taking that apart again, but at least we know it's easy to get it out, just more difficult to actually fix it. But I'm determined to actually fix it, so we'll have another go. Maybe we'll have a go when the magazine deadlines are out of the way. Retro Japanese has just gone to print. Just got Classic Jaguar left, and then I can relax for a bit. I haven't got a magazine deadline until March after that, because you know I'm giving up Classic Jaguar magazine because I want more time to focus on the channel. So if you're getting fed up with me bleating on about merchandise and subscribing and all that, that's all because that helps support what I do. It helps to support HubNut, and yeah, I want to make more of it next year. So thank you for your support so far. It's called up a Vauxhall Mariva, I think it is, slowing me down a bit. Right, well, we've done playing with Jaguars for the day. I'm afraid no video footage of that. I had to do a couple of very quick photo shoots. They let me have a play with an I-Pace. I may be back to have another look at that. The Jaguar I-Pace was already one of my favourite electric cars, and that was before I'd driven one. So let's see what happens next year on that front. But now I'm off to Krown rust proofing in Tipton in the West Midlands, in the Black Country, which is great because I was born in the Black Country really. So I speak the local lingo, so I should be all right there. Yeah, they're going to rust proof the Favorit. But on the way, I just quickly visited Alex at Body Beautiful Limited, who does a lot of top-end restoration work on Ferraris and Jaguars, and for some reason we're friends despite this. Lovely, completely down-to-earth bloke, and he's given me some tips for making this car shiny again, which don't involve painting it, so that's good. I'll talk about that a bit another day, but nice to have some progress. But yeah, I need to try and find out where I'm going. The rear window is just refusing to clear today. It's that soggy in here. I'm going to have to try and stop the water getting in and dry out what has already got in here. But yes, let's go and find out where this place is. So we have made it to Krown rust proofing, or rust protection, and Robert is making a start on stripping the Favorit out so we can get the protection everywhere it needs to be. It's a really gloopy sort of waxy type substance that's going to go in all the box sections. It's going to go underneath panels. It's hopefully going to stop the rot, because by heck do Favorits know how to rot. Let's see what's going on. Oh, and the good news is my swimming pool no longer seems to be there. I had to empty that tray out. The two plugs are looking a bit rusty, but yeah. So how far do you go with stripping everything out?
Well, I'm gonna have to see how the lights come out, because I'm not familiar with this. But if the lights come out like I think they do,
they kind of look like they should do, don't they?
Yes, and this is all I need to do, because I have spray probes that goes in all the way inside of the wheel arches through the opening of the light. So I do all the boot floor, and even if it is leaking, it's not gonna cause any damage anymore.
Beautiful.
And obviously I'm going to have to take all the trim off as well.
Yeah.
Be careful with the clips, because they do break.
They do get fragile.
Yes, and I keep those in stock, and I'm going to replace those with the new ones if needs to be.
Super.
But I'll be careful, and hopefully they won't break.
Super, thank you.
Bye.
In other news, my mate Alex had to go polishing this little bit of it at lunchtime, and it started coming up remarkably well. The problem is this car has actually been painted. You can see here there's paint on the seal, and you look in other places, you can see where the original paint is underneath the new paint. It's just been a really shoddy blow over, which has gone thin on that section of the roof there, so that's not great. But yeah, Alex gave me some stuff for polishing it up, so I'm not going to bother with a mop because I think the mop's going to do more damage than anything. We'll just do it by hand. Well, yeah, I think we're highlighting why this job is going to be necessary. Seams like this, all hidden out the way, where the rock can really get a good innings, especially as the seam sealing is apparently not all that brilliant around the wheel arches. So good job we're doing this. Not so easy to show you the other side because of the camera angle, but again, remarkably good. That's why I bought this one. Maybe you can see from down here, look, all solid. So we're here because we want to keep it that way. That's what it looks like with no rear lights on. So that's the first treatment underway. Squirting the wax in with a thin lance. This is where the system really works. You've got an air-powered gun, so trying to do this at home and get that level of penetration is not going to be easy. Even though I've used aerosol cans that have long lances on, it still seems to use up an awful lot of cans on just the one car, so this seems a much better way of doing it. So even the boot floor itself has had a good covering, which means that even if I can't get this sodding leak sorted out, hopefully it won't be too catastrophic. And a long lance has been used to go right down into these rear inner wings. Good stuff. A quick blast to the engine bay. Blow all the debris out. And now the wax. We can do the underside of the scuttle, try and stop that rusting out. Glad I painted those wiper arms. Will this actually make my car Wales proof? So this is the stuff we're using, this Krown T40 rust protection and lubricant. So it might even stop my squeaky hinges because it's quite oily. Environmentally friendly apparently, and it kind of looks like, well, you can see a bit in this funnel. That is kind of what it looks like, a sort of creamy wax. So it's obviously going into this big thing through the air system, and that is blasting it into my Favorit. Very exciting times. I might have to get some other cars on my fleet done. Now on to the doors and the door shuts. In total, Robert reckons about 1.5 litres of fluid is sort of pumped in. Oh yeah, should make a real difference. We can drill holes to get into the main door structure, so all that can be protected as well. Might lubricate my door hinges. once we're done up here, we can lift the car on the ramp to get at the underside. I say we, I'm just watching. That's using a very long lance to get right deep into the door skins. Very handy of Skoda to fit little ventilation panels here, so it's nice and easy to get in. Give it all a good soaking. Lovely. Whereas the front door seems to have a convenient hole just before the lock, just below the lock, sorry. Up she goes, ready for the underside to be done. But as you can see, it's all very solid, albeit now slightly mucky. There was a lot more red under here the other day, but Welsh country roads are not kind. But it is all very solid, and the thing today is to try and keep it that way. Still see a bit of paint there, but look, you can see where the underseal has cracked, so rust is starting to get in. So it wouldn't take too much exposure to salt to make that rusty. Again, front suspension corrosion starting to show. Yeah, let's give it a good sorting out. Incidentally, that's where a hatchback ends, and this is the extra bit to make it an estate. Just kind of welded on at the back. So this is the unpleasant bit, scraping out the dirt and muck that accumulated, but really not too bad in there. But obviously mud getting caught around the wheel arch is a key rot spot on a lot of cars, which is why you see so many rotten wings. And because this is directly behind the wheel, that area also gets made a bit of a mess. This stuff isn't just protecting the wings, it can protect stuff like the brake unions as well, so you're not having to deal with rusty connectors. We're going to have a look at the back arch, and again, look, there's just nothing. Remarkably good. Ooh, bit of rust up there. Maybe the new rear dampers might not be a bad idea. Oh, there we go. Lovely. Even doing the wheels. It's good the wheels are in great condition, so we've got to try and keep them that way. The paint doesn't seem too superb on that one. Oh, this is good stuff. I'm liking this a lot. Because rust is just the most tiresome thing about owning older cars. And, you know, I've tried to do rust proofing myself over the years, but I never quite do it right. So it's very nice to have a professional person doing it. And to do a car like this, you're looking at about 250 quid. A smaller car might be less than that because there's less of it. Starting to wish we'd got the nipper done now. And it's guaranteed for 2 years. And after 2 years, they recommend doing the underside again, and then after 4 years, doing the whole car again. It's hard to think of that sort of timescale when you're me and you change cars that often. But regardless of what happens with this car, whether I sell it or whether I keep it, I don't want it rotting away. And this should ensure that it does not. So cleaning out the arches on this side at the moment. Pleased to see it's a plastic fuel filler pipe. I've fed up with Japanese cars that have metal ones that rust away. Also a bit of rust on that strut as well. But again, superbly clean. That is just starting to rust there. See where the stone chip has been chipped away effectively. But again, immaculate arches. Wow. Scary moment. One handy access hole which allows you to spray both ends of the sill. There are holes to access the inner sill, but not to access the outer, so holes are sadly necessary, but they can always be plugged afterwards once everything's full of wax. I had to do that on my own 2CV, and it was heartbreaking stuff to drill holes in the lovely freshly painted panels. And now this flexible lance can be inserted. Thread that all the way to the back. Spraying as you go. Waxy. So once again, all the dirt's been blown off, and a nice coating is applied. I'll probably be risking my own hat by being under here. While the stuff's fresh, it will drip off for a bit. That's good. So this stuff was developed in Canada, so there's a country where they need to stop stuff rusting. And this is the only place in the UK that can do this. I mean, obviously there's other rust treatments you can fit, but this one is recommended by an awful lot of people, including friends of mine, and I think by me now as well. Lovely. I've never owned a car that was nice enough to do this too, I don't think. So it's been over 2 hours now, so it's quite a thorough process. Getting into all those nooks and crannies, and the stuff should creep in more and more, especially on hot days. Hot days seem a long way away at the moment, but this stuff isn't heated before being applied. It is applied with quite high pressure, but it is fairly liquid as it comes anyway. It's not like some products I've used in the past where you've really got to heat it to even get it thinking about being inserted in a sill or a box section. But yeah, it's good work. Bonus points if you can tell me what that is. So, a bit of grease on the holes drilled in the sill. And then a lovely fresh grommet. I've been quite lucky with this car really. Those are the only holes we've had to drill. There's been access everywhere else that we've needed it. And that's it. She is now done. So it's just a case of some gentle reassembly. But big advantage of this car is because it's so simple, we haven't had to disassemble an awful lot. I think cars with plastic sill trims and wheel arch liners, and yet again the simplicity of the Favorit wins through. Quite an old tyre, probably one of the originals. Tiger. You can't really see that, but it says made in Yugoslavia, so that definitely ages it. Also, one of my lamp clusters has a crack in it. Bad times. Here's one advantage, but it's nothing to do with rust. Silent door hinges. Well, I don't think it was the hinges. I think it's this plastic tube that has all the wiring in it that was rubbing. But the wax has been blasted all around there. And yeah, good times. There we go, all done. Thanks to Krown rust protection, 100% Canadian technology. So hello to Canadian followers who probably know all about Krown. Anyway, but there's one step left before we go, and that step is a wash. So that's quite exciting in itself, because obviously wax gets sprayed around all over the place while you're doing this job. So she can have a nice clean. Did you work out what it was yet? Look how she turns red again. It's like magic. You'd better enjoy this Skoda. I can't promise when your next wash will be. We have many miles to do over the Christmas period. At least I'll feel more confident that there will actually be some car left at the end of it and she won't have rusted away. This feels very decadent. Watching my car get washed while I stand in front of the heater. Is it just me or she look happier already? If only making her stay that red was that easy. Yeah, that's great. It's a shame I've got to drive her home back to the filthy roads of Wales, really. There we are, fully wax-proofed, ready to go. So there you go, that was the rust proofing, and now all I need to do is drive home. It's going to get very dark, obviously, but yeah, very pleased with that. It wasn't a freebie, I have paid for that. There was a bit of a discount, which was very kind of them because I'm making a video about it, but yeah, I came here because I wanted to and because it was recommended by friends, and only time will tell how good it is, but certainly feel a lot more confident. Right, homeward. And so endeth another journey. There is a fox there. That was quite a long day. We've done over 200 miles, or according to my odometer, 20. Still work to be done there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed watching this car get rust-proof. And yeah, there will be more adventures to come. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and I shall see you in a future video. Farewell.